Good morning. Happy Monday. Hello. Also we have a cat here, but he's very close to the camera today. What? I'm sorry. None of your you don't like any of these toys anymore. All right. Hold on one second. He's meowing. He's meowing a lot. What? You find a spider? Alright, I thought maybe he found a spider or something. But no. He wants to play. And I left most of his toys upstairs. Let's see if he likes that. I think one of the things I want to do is get another batch of catnip and soak some of his toys in them, and then he'll enjoy chasing after them. Good morning, Stacking. You can confirm cats do meow. Yes, Zilby can be a loud cat. He can indeed. All right, so what are we doing today? So yesterday I signed up for Stripe. I got an account going and was sort of like looking over what the process. Also that other documentation you sent me. Apparently it's in the same documentation area, but I somehow got into like a weird place. I don't know. It's a little bit odd. That being said, I don't think this is gonna be that difficult. See if we can get some of this set up. We're gonna need both a Yew and Axum sort of like systems going, so front end and back end. So that is confirmed. We're gonna need that. Code builds. Let's go into Yew.rs playground. And I set up another environment variable in here for, let's see, gonna come over here now. Not authentication for Stripe. Basically a Stripe checkout URI. And basically their documentation is very interesting. They basically say, okay, this is all you need. You just basically need a form that's going to send. They recommend a post, which I'm not actually. I guess it's a post because you're creating, like you're going to be telling Stripe to create a sort of like a checkout instance, and then we're going to do a redirect. So we're actually going to use the full action and method because we're leaving this app. Now the thing is, like, I'm the first iteration, like, but of like the Brooks Builds website is not gonna have Stripe in it. I'm not gonna need payment in it, but I do want to make sure that we like sort of understand how it's gonna work, so that way eventually when we get to it, I've at least hopefully considered it as part of whatever tools and technologies we need and how they're gonna integrate together. Okay, so we have this, and let's head back to here. And we're going to go into an Axum playground. I'm going to have a .env here as well. But until then, I don't really think I need anything to set up, so we're going to just do a cargo run. Oh, you know what I should also do? Open up VS Code here too. All right, so we have two VS codes, one for the back end and one for the front end. For this back end, I didn't really get very far in it because I spent most of the time actually just filling out forms for Stripe to sign up, which is an entire thing. Okay, so I created a live.rs which is just empty with a just like letting us know, hey, there's this module Stripe. So I plan on creating like routes and everything else inside of here. Just because it's like the playground, I want this to almost be sort of like documentation for how we set it up. And then there's actually something kind of exciting. Let's head over to in here. There's a list of SDKs and libraries. Let's see. Okay, so client-side libraries, not really surprising. For some reason, they don't have Yew.rs. I don't know why. I mean, I guess you should, just essentially HTML and JavaScript or React is their choice here. Okay, I mean, that's understandable. Server side, we have Ruby, Python, PHP, Java, Node, Go, and .NET. Actually, that's a pretty good sort of like set of SDKs for us. But then they have these community libraries, which this is where it gets exciting, because community libraries includes async Stripe, Rust bindings for the Stripe API. So we're going to do our best to use this. And it's using the Tokyo runtimes. So hopefully this should just work with Axum out of the box. And if it does, then this is going to be super easy, and we'll be moving on to the next thing sooner than they expected. Okay, so back to this documentation. Okay, so there's some test API keys, and that's why I'm going to need that .env file, which is nice. So basically, I haven't activated the account. It's still in test mode. So Stripe does a really good job at making the docs impossible to read and find things. So I hadn't we haven't used it enough for me to make that determination yet, but so far I feel that it's very much like Google documentation, which is very pretty, nice to look at, great information, impossible to use. Which is hilarious that that's a thing. All right, so where, I think it was payments, online payments, accept a payments. We set up Stripes. Here's this redirect to your customer Stripe checkout. So this is to / create a checkout session. And so this is going to send to our backend. So we're going to need a post method in Axum. So before we sort of continue on with this, let's actually create that so we can hit it and it can redirect us to some place. So first of all, in main, I think we're going to want to move some of this stuff over to live.rs. So let's see, here's our main. We have our tracing subscriber. So this is our essentially asynchronous logging, as far as I can tell. Okay, so the Axum server bind. I think this is okay. Or we can move this into like maybe a run, and this would need to be a async await function in here. So what if we do this? Async, is it hub async function run? I don't know if we're returning anything. And I kind of want to just call all of this stuff from in here. Yeah, and we're unwrapping here at this point in time, but we might be able to do some kind of a question mark. Let's see if I can use error. There you are. Okay. Took a little while. All right, so down here, we're going to return okay. And then instead of this unwrap, can we just question mark you? And the rest of it is we're going to grab the stuff. So import you, import you. I think it was that one. Okay, and so then the rest of this is going to be the actual route handlers. So we're going to have a route, and then we have this post. So I'm going to change this mirror into the stripe one. In fact, I don't even know if we need this get here. Just seeing that this is how it works, I think this is going to be fine. So I'm just going to remove you. We have this stripe here, so I need a function. It's going to be an async function that, in this case, does it take a JSON payload? I don't think it does. Because we don't need anything. I think it just won't take anything, right? And it will sort of figure that out, maybe? I don't know, let's find out. We're seeing how long we can go without looking to the documentation for Axum to see how intuitive it really is. And then once we get into that point, how easy it is to find just the little thing that you need and sort of keep on going. It's always like, that's always been the best possible developer experiences, is when the tooling is everything you need and everything just sort of works the way you expect because it works with the language. Okay, so we're gonna have a hub async function handle single stripe payment. I am thinking we're also going to do one for, what is it called? A subscription, just to sort of like see how that works, because I know the Stripe has that and it might be slightly different. Okay, so then now you're going to return, I want to return a redirect. This is an import into response. And so we return a tuple with a status code OK, and then any kind of JSON that we're sending out. So if I just do, I may not even need a tuple. What if we just do status code OK for right now? We'll pull this in, and we're gonna call this, oh, whatever half for that one, which okay, this is on 8,000. Give me a second to go look at what that is. Okay, so I just have it as like /checkout. So that means in here, /checkout, do a post to this. Handler is now going to be handle single straight payment. Okay, I think you're okay with this. And then let's see. So in async main, we need to take in this run and then run it. So we're gonna do run. Dot await, and we can unwrap here, which means I don't need this async root anymore, or this mirror, or the mirror on the wall. And most of these I don't need either. I need the use Axum run, and then all of these are going to be inside of the main library. Okay, so then Yew.rs Axum playground. Let's restart Yew. What was the thing? Is it cargo run? I think it's cargo run, right? That allows me to restart every time that there's a or run a command whenever there's a change to the source code. That might be really nice to sort of set up here. Got really nice to used to Trunk just automatically doing that for me. Okay, so we have that, and then for Thunder client. There we go. Okay, nope. You go up there. We're gonna do a post to HTTP localhost 8000/checkout. I don't need to pass anything in. This should just give us a 200 OK with nothing back, sort of. Okay. Now I think this will connect the two together essentially. I am curious to see whether or not we're going to run into a cores issue with this. Let's see. I started Yew also. Okay, so let's find out. So if I go to Stripe, let's go to Stripe. Okay, we go to localhost 8000 checkout. Opposed to 8000, I got a 200 status. Okay, excellent. All right, so a checkout session is the programmatic representation of what your customer sees when they're redirected to the payment form. I can configure it with such items as line items to charge, currencies to use, and so we can do that all in the backend code. And so here they have a Node.js sort of showing what that's going to be like. So we're going to create a Stripe checkout sessions. And so that's now where this comes in. And I think this is what we want. Possibly with this feature, because we're using Tokyo, we're using Axum, and Axum is built like a super thin layer on top of Hyper apparently. So this might just work. Maybe. Let's find out. So this is the playground. It does warn us that this is a pretty heavy compile time, but it's one of the reasons I'm doing 2 different computers for streaming and recording and whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna let that do its thing. These are our runtime. So Tokyo Hyper Rust LS. Oh, am I gonna need to add in? Okay, so, all right, so we need straight PP docs. This is gonna be checkout sessions create. I need a list of their just a so their billing is apparently one of the features. I don't see billing on the left. Where I'm sort of looking to see if there's any like obvious way, like place to see where the which ones would be features to sort of guess at that. Let's see. Schizophrenic developer, how can you stream on Facebook? You want to stream while coding social media website? You know, I have never streamed on Facebook. In fact, my account is kind of shut down right now. I don't really ever log into it. Let's see. For that, generally speaking, you can use OBS. OBS should be able to connect to a Facebook, no problem whatsoever. And I think OBS would even allow you to do like a login with Facebook to get the streaming key and configure that. So I would start with OBS Studio first and try that out. And then I think it should just work, but I've never done it, so there might be more steps that you have to do on Facebook itself to sort of accept a stream or set one up. But I can't imagine it's that hard or difficult to do. Good luck and happy streaming. Okay, so let's go to Async Stripe's actual docs. Do you have a link to it? All right, so we need to create a checkout session. So if I search for create, okay, charge customer. Okay, checkout session. And let's see what. Now it doesn't say it's behind a feature flag, but it might be. There's so many things. Am I building a web shop? So I'm not building a web shop, no. So when I do eventually integrate Stripe, the idea is I'm gonna put some of my courses that I create, like eventually, new ones, behind like a paywall, and then Stripe would be one of several ways to like get access to those. I haven't decided like if I'm also going to put them on YouTube with like advertisements, and then Stripe would be the way to pay to like get rid of those advertisements. I might go with like a free to learn model, which totally exists. Free to learn is definitely a thing. Not making that up. Totally. Okay, so. But yeah, so like it's not going to be a web shop. I'm not going to be like building things for other people. It's going to be a combination of building things for myself and then building content that hopefully is useful to other people. And if it's not, then that's okay. Only people that it's useful for, I'm hoping, are going to pay for it. So fields, methods. Okay, so methods create here. We'll have client and params with this create checkout session. Okay, so checkout session. I want to now do this in here. So we want checkout session. Oh, is it going to be create checkout session? Oh, because there's a checkout session here, and there's also a create checkout session? Oh, these are the parameters for checkout session create. Oh, okay. So checkout session, there it is. Import. Interesting. External create Stripe. Is that actually what it's called? I didn't even. Async Stripe. Okay, so then we're going to create. Okay, so client. Which is going to be a reference to a client. Okay, so we need to go look at this. Looks like I can use a new on it. Ooh, okay, so a new and then a secret key. So create a new account with a given secret key. Okay, so the first ENV that I do not want to expose. All right, so we're gonna name this Stripe Secret. I guess it's the Stripe Client Secret. Equals, and then over here I need to go log into Stripe. I think they're gonna give me like a fake secret that I can use, because come on, stop putting me not in test mode. So come on. Developers in test mode, and I need, yeah, viewing test keys and everything else. That's excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in there, save and exit you. All right, so previously I installed oh, I don't have, I think we need .env in here, .env to load up the environment variables. We have .env. And then in main, we're going to use these. Okay. Okay, so .env, .env. Is that it? Oh wait, it's dot. I can't remember what exactly I'm supposed to use with .env. Oh, it's just .ok. Okay. And this should load up the environment variables for me. So that means in Stripe now I can use env. So like let client, can make this up here. Okay, so that's going to be you grabbing this stir. We have that available. Okay, so we're going to create a new, and then this is going to be our client secret. Environment variable. Oh, this is you just being upset because it's not like loaded into VS Code at this time, so it doesn't actually see that variable, which is interesting. Of like how to get it to work. But okay, so that's working. Okay, we need to borrow the client. All right, next up is math types. Oh, I don't want to return this. Interesting, a pin box dying feature. Okay, so session create. Now we need these params. It doesn't really know what to do with these. And I assume that I need to await. And then I probably can't do a question mark. So we'd want to probably respond back to our Yew.rs server in the case of like some error. So what if we do something like this? We're gonna match you. Then we'll have, okay, if it's okay, we have the checkout session. And we return that. However, if we have this error, I kind of want to, all right, what was that thing that we did? It's not here, we can do a tracing error. And then we're going to want to return a status code now. What would I want to do? Probably status code. I mean, I could do a status code error. And then redirect back to our UDEX site. So failed dependency. We could just do an internal server error, which I think is just a 500, and then I want a redirect. Redirect to, and we're going to do a ooh, I wonder if I could see where they came from. Or if I'm gonna have to pass that in as like a redirect to. Redirect on error. Let's for right now just send this to we'll just go back to here. Okay, so tracing error, you don't like this. Format argument must be a string literal. Oh, okay. You now need a tuple so that I'm returning the same thing, right? Because it's expecting a redirect in this case. Oh, well, it is a redirect in either case. Maybe we'll not do the redirect to as part of this right now. We'll just do status code. Okay, so now they're consistent. So they have to be consistent. That's good to know. Next up, we need a create checkout session. It has a new. Okay, so a cancel URL and a success URL. Now I think it actually talks about this here. Cancel URL, a page on your website to redirect your customer if they click on your logo in checkout. And then success URL, a page on your website to redirect your customer after they complete the payment. Okay, so that means we actually need to create those routes on the front end. But we probably want to send those back as part of the JSON request. So for our format, check out URL. Let's go to Stripe. I mean, I guess this might also be okay, but we can put some like hidden form fields in here too, that would then send that data, make it available to us. Let's first start with a cancel URL, and then we'll worry about like making the. Do I want to worry about that? Maybe I want to worry about that now. So we have the checkout URI, and then let's do let cancel URI equals so it's almost as if I need like a base, do like a base URI. Localhost 8080. So first we can do a const base URI is a stir. Base URI, okay. Cancel URI is now going to be, I guess we'll just do a format. And we'll say, we'll start with base URI slash stripe cancel. Why don't you have any suggestions? Stripe success. Okay, so it is seeing that correctly. Then down to here. I want to send these in. So if I want to keep everything in a form here, my thought is to have some hidden form fields. So we can actually have an input type text. We can have a display none, and if we do that, we're gonna need the stylist to style this. I'm gonna just keep this in here, so we'll have name equals, it's gonna be cancel URI. Value is cancel URI. So if we do this, what do you look like? I want to come back here. Ah, there we go. Okay, this lovely. Okay, so then disabled true is probably disabled equals. Oh, I was hoping that would expected. Oh, expected actual Boolean. Okay. Like that. Oh, I like that one more. Okay, so here's disabled, and then we'd want to actually truly disable this, like to hide it away, and just have it be a hidden form field, which is fine. We can do that later. You can't find a job in web development because of your mental disorder. Is it wise to create a Fiverr account and freelance there? Yeah, like you can. It sort of depends upon where you live and how much experience you have. I would, let's see. I've never used Fiverr on either side, really. I've thought about it before. Like I've thought about trying to hire some designers, but I have no idea how to vet them of like whether or not they're like good or not for like designing websites for me. I would like, I don't think it could hurt, right? Because like if you try and then it just is like a complete and utter failure, nobody's gonna care or find out that it's you really. So you just abandon that account essentially, and then you can try other things. So, I mean, I don't know if like wise is the right word or not, but it's certainly a possibility to go for it and just see what happens and experiment and see whether or not it works for you. The biggest thing is that because you'd be starting with no history, there is a chance that you might have to do some marketing to try to get people to like know that you exist. So with any type of working, networking is going to be a big part of it. And by networking, I just really mean getting people to know that you exist and then like pointing them in the direction of your Fiverr account, or Upwork, or whichever of those websites you're using. And then maybe you can be able to get those jobs. So good luck with that. And I wish you the best of luck, because I bet it's very doable. It just might take a little bit of time and effort at the beginning to like sort of get a following. Set up a personal website plus portfolio. Absolutely. If you're doing any kind of freelancing, especially on some place like Fiverr, you're gonna need to be able to show off what you can do so that people can like look at that and judge your skills for themselves. Because especially on something like Fiverr, they're not actually talking to you. They're looking at just a website that shows what you can do with like links to your pages. And so if it doesn't look good or like look like what they want, you're never gonna get an interview. Like they're just gonna move on to somebody else right at that point of time. So absolutely, personal website and portfolio essential for something like this. Okay, so this is our cancel UI. Let's now do the next one for input type equals text, name equals, this is now going to be success URI, value equals success URI. Why did I call URI? Disabled equals true. Okay, so now we're gonna have the these are where I want them to redirect to when there's a success or failure. We can then create these front end routes. So we need Stripe success. I don't know if there's any other information for that I want to display out, so we're just going to go with this and your payment was successful. Okay, so we create that, and why are you? Oh, right, you're upset because that for no good reason. Let's head into the router and add this into. Actually, we can create the other one first. So this is going to be Stripe cancel. RS. Okay, so creating both of those, can now come in and use them. Here. Okay, so we should have these routes now. So then I want to, in our back end, we're now going to be taking in this as a URL form encoded data. So how did that work again? We're going to have like a JSON. So you're going to take in there was oh, was it the type? So it was like this is like the data. Oh, you're not helpful. Oh wait, I meant this is Yew.rs. Wait a second, what am I doing? Wrong, this is the wrong VS Code. Yew. Okay, so Yew, we're gonna take in our data, which is gonna be, okay, use Axum JSON. Now we have this type, which we can set down here. So this is gonna be our pub struct really it's like the session params type. So this is handle Stripe payment body. So we're gonna have a cancel URI string success URI string. And then we need to derive deserialize and serialize. Okay, so then getting that out, we should be able to put our cancel URL is now going to be this data dot cancel URI, data dot success URI. You need to be borrowed. Okay, so that creates a checkout session params, and we now use that here. Okay, so far it's this is the only fake error that we have. So far so good. Then after we, okay, so we create the checkout session, we pass that in. What do you want us to do? Okay, we also need to create these line items to say like, hey, what is it gonna be? Now, can I do this off of you? So I bet you're gonna need to be mutable, aren't you? So let's check out session dot line items. Let's see, so this is a getter. So I need to be able to set it. Oh, maybe there's some other things we can pass into params. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, so what? Check out session. Oh yeah, okay, we have a bunch of these fields, and I bet one of these is going to be line items. There it is. It's an option vec. Okay. So, are you a builder? Oh yeah, this creates a new off of here. And then oh, interesting. I thought there'd be methods off here to add in, but it looks like it's not. We could just set it to be whatever we want. Yeah, look at that. It just wants us to now set this manually. Okay. So it's not like a builder method. It's just going to be, okay, we do params.lineItems equals, and then, ooh, okay. So we need to create a line item now. So we create the params. This needs to be mutable. So we could then check out session params dot line items equals you are a option vec of create checkout session line items. So it's going to be a sum with a vec and then a brand new line item in here. So how do I handle errors in Rust? So errors are a little bit different in Rust than most other languages. There's no such thing as like a throw, like a try catch, like you would expect in other languages. So instead, it reminds me a lot of Node.js and like how those developers handled errors for a little bit of time before promises came into play. It was a little bit weird. I think Rust version is a lot better than what that was there. I think they perfected that, which is you return a result type, and the result type is basically it's something that's okay, like it was successful, or it was an error. So it's essentially an enum. It can be one or the other thing. And then the compiler basically forces you to handle that, either by panicking and crashing, the equivalent of like just a throw error without a try catch, or handling it, not crashing, and then doing something with that error. And then you'll see me use question marks sometimes, and those question marks are the equivalent of putting in like a try catch, getting the error, and then immediately rethrowing it, sort of bubbling up that error till some place that handles it near the top of the application. So that's how we handle errors in Rust. It's nifty. And we have lots of libraries to sort of help us out. I use one called Air a lot. Okay. Am I logging the error to standard out? I can. So generally speaking, when it crashes, that's going to log the error to standard out for me. But I can definitely do a log myself to standard out and like append it with other information. So it's definitely an option. Now, line items, you need to be a create checkout session line items. So going to be a create checkout session line items. Ooh. I have a default. There's no new available to me. Okay, these are all public, so I'll be able to use them. So what I can do is I can create a default, which will be none for all of these, and that should be fine, and then we can set them. So we'll create a default. I'll make you mutable, and then we'll update the line item. So line item dot. And now we can adjust this. So adjustable quantity. Well, let's actually look at what they're suggesting here. We have, okay, price data, currency USD. Oh, price data is itself going to be a create checkout session line items price data, which is itself a struct. Oh, interesting. So do you also log some default error message to the front end, showing to the user that something went wrong on a web page? It's a really good idea to do that, to let the user know, hey, something went wrong, even if it's like not telling them exactly what went wrong, but at least letting them know that something went wrong. And whether or not they should retry again, because maybe it was just some random fluke and trying again will work, or if they should submit an error message, basically a call to action, even if that action is try again later. Letting them know that is really helpful. Otherwise, people panic, and this is how you get like people just like smashing a button 18 times in a row because they don't know what's going on. Okay, so line items, we need this price data. I bet there's going to be even a product data one. Okay, so price data is next. So this is a thing. So we have price data is going to be equal to some create checkout session line items price data. Create checkout session line items price data. So let's see. I can do. Can't really do anything here, so then I need to do this up here. Okay, so looking at you, we want to set the currency. And your type is, oh, a type currency. Okay, so equals currency USD. Okay, we're finally moving forward. And then, okay, we immediately have product data. So I bet this is gonna be another one of these. So create checkout session product data. We want a name, and so that will, okay, so our name is going to be really cool horse. Is it a stir or is it a string? It needs to be a string, okay. Okay, so that was the only thing in here. So that product data then goes into price data, product data. So okay, happy with that. Then a unit amount in price data. So price data dot unit amount, and you're gonna be an I-64. Wait, so I can put in a negative? Do you want negative? Okay, you want 1. Okay, that's going to be our price data. So then price data is now going to equal to this price data. Then in line items, we're going to have a quantity. So line item dot quantity equals some. Let's see. Okay, this one's a U64. This one makes sense. Oh, unit amount. Oh, how much is it going to cost? So like if I'm charging $1, let's say, then this is 1. And so quantity is how many you're purchasing, which is going to be 1 of them. Oh, this is like 1, 0, like 1.00. I'm confused about this. Okay, now you're happy. I just needed to save, apparently. Okay, so then inside of View, we're going to put in our line item. Now, that's all the line items. Next up is going to be mode. So this is all the checkout session params. Okay, so mode is going to be payment. And so you're going to be an option checkout session mode. Payment. And then we have our success URL and cancel URL, which were required and we already gave it, so we should be fine. Need to be to sum. So then we create our checkout session. We hand in our checkout session params. Okay. Then we're, oh, this session is gonna now give us a URL. So we need to probably run something on it to get the redirect URL. Okay, so checkout session dot. Is it gonna be like a create? Because I think it needs to actually send a request out. I can get a URL like that. Let's try unwrapping. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, so we're gonna get a redirect URI that should send us to Stripe. Then I want to now. So we want to go to like a redirect. Redirect to the redirect URI. Which means for this error, so now you're going to be upset because you're expecting it to just be this code. So redirect to we'll just put in this. Oh, we could put in the cancel URL. That might work. So that will be a reference to data cancel URI. I guess we could also have like an error URI that we pass in too. Okay, this was a lot. I have no idea if this is gonna work or not. We're gonna find out. Let me restart the server. That's you. This is Axum. Oh, there's gotta recompile this too. Oh, it failed. Oh, the Stripe client secret is not defined. I thought that would work because the .env should load it, right? Because I have a .env file here. Yeah, I have a .env outside of the source. I thought .env would find it. I guess not. So what do we want to do with that? Stripe client secret. Stripe client secret. Is it possible that it's not going to run because it's trying to do it at compile time and it needs to run at runtime because the const? Maybe. Let's move this down. Okay, so if I just do that, and I try to rerun you again, I still can't find it. Oh, wait. Nope. Yeah, it's just saying environment variable is not defined. So I suppose export. Oh. Okay, so next up, can't leak private type. Private type handle stripe payment body is impl response can't leak private type. Huh. So in handle single stripe payment. Oh, handle stripe payment body. Okay. You need to be public. Okay, it's running. How do I normally handle transactions in Rust? What kind of transactions are we talking about? All right, I'm gonna try this first to make sure. Oh, like locking DB and rollback in the case of error. I don't do that usually myself. So if we're working with something like Postgres, I usually just let the database handle that, or any of the libraries or frameworks that I'm using, if I can. So, and then like most recently, I like to use a abstraction layer on top of Postgres called Hasura, which provides a GraphQL interface, which is super nice. I love it. And it's going to handle all of that stuff for me for free. So basically, I don't. Okay, so if I click on let's go to Stripe, expected request. Okay, so error. Expected request with content type application JSON. All right, so I need to figure this out. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. So I'm going to have to continue this tomorrow. So I'm sorry, everybody. I was really hoping that like it would just magically work and we would get it the first try. But like most things in development, it's gonna be like second or third try. That being said, I do have to run really quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a really quick raid to Togglebit since he is streaming, and it's so rare that I get a raid him these days. So we're going to set that up. If you haven't seen Togglebit, Togglebit is an amazing Rust developer as well. I have no idea what he's working on right now. I'm going to go ahead and load up Twitch over here so I can also hang with you a little bit before my meeting start, which is not going to be very long. So with that, everyone, I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Yep, I'm going to be heading off to work. I have my day job that I'm doing. We don't use Rust, which is too bad. So I won't be doing Rust until either tonight or tomorrow morning. So with that, have a good one and see you then. Bye.